Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to Company of Heroes 2. This time I'm playing as the Oberkommando West. These guys are quite unique. So as you can see, I can start off with quite a wide variety of units that I can build right off the bat here. The exception is I can't build the Konig's Tiger quite yet, but I start off with the ability to build 4 different units, including my anti-tank gun, which is a little bit peculiar, but the unit I start off with is also unique. It's the Stern Pioneer Squad. They're a very capable combat-ready unit that's capable of rushing down and assaulting enemy enemy infantry very effectively. The other unit that I've got that I'm building are the Volksgrenadiers. They're actually not particularly good. The weird thing is that they've got these combat packages which include cold weather immunity, which is weird in and of itself, and it comes with a rocket launcher. And their rocket launcher therefore costs a lot more than everybody else's on summer maps because you obviously don't need cold immunity. Either way, I'm getting a second unit of Stern Pioneers. The reason is that they are a combat unit in addition to being one of my sort of builder units, even though I don't really build or repair very much early game. But I really want to get one of these guys up to Veterancy Level 2, because that will give me access to medical supplies as a doctor sort of unit ability. So I'm not going to be getting the medic wagon anytime soon, which is very peculiar. The Soviets sort of will be able to whittle down my infantry, and my infantry will end up being, like, completely inept. But over here, I'm moving my Volksgrenadier up as sort of almost like a meat shield, and then I'm moving in my Stern Pioneers behind to try and kind of really kill them. And you're going to see that I'm coming in from both sides here. And we're managing to chase away all of those different units, but I still haven't gotten Veterancy Level 1, so I can't use these units yet as a medic unit. Still, though, able to cap my half of the map quite decisively because of this, and chase back a lot of my opponents. I even took out a full rifleman squad, or conscript squad, so that was a big loss for my opponent. Now, my units are still quite low health. As you can see, these guys, there's 3 of them, but they have like a quarter of their health left, so most of these guys will die in about 1 shot, so very dangerous situation. Still, I'm able to chase them back with these Stern Pioneers. And I've gotten myself the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. Now, this is an odd choice. I can't heal my units for another 3 minutes at least, but I'm going for a sort of mechanical rush-style army, which is very, I think, off-meta. I think that the meta currently is that if you're playing as these guys, you want to use them as a kind of units, or the kind of army that can sustain and camp and really do well that way. Now, I've got a machine gun up here mid, along with these guys that are sort of pounding away at these guys, but they've got 2 more that made it away. I'm forced to retreat these guys, but they've gotten that critical Veterancy Level 1, so I can now start healing my units back up to full health. I forced that 1 unit back, but not necessarily a great situation. I'm moving up with my machine gun. It's going to be able to lock down the area again, so he's not going to be able to advance any further than he is. And this might seem fairly camping and defensive, but you need to do something to hold back your opponent's counterattacks as these guys. Still, my opponent over here doesn't have the best cover because of those carts, so he's going to actually move up a little bit. And that's going to put him in range of the machine gun over here, so it's going to start firing away. I'm going to hit them with a grenade, and that's going to reduce the unit down to practically nothing. The reason I did this is because I saw guys moving around my back. Now, I've got this unit over here to stop him from flanking around too much, but that unit gets pinned anyway and chased off, so that's perfectly acceptable. The machine gun over here, I kind of accidentally move it a little bit, and it's just barely gets set back up in time, so yeah, that was potentially close. Anyway, it starts suppressing them, they go back. Now, the Oberkommando West are a peculiar faction. As you can see, I've not done what I've normally done, and that's because the units that I get take a long time to build. It takes a long time to get up to a full-size Oberkommando army. So, you can see over here I've got sort of a medic party with that medic box over there. But I don't have very many units on the field compared to what I would normally have, and none of the units I have are sort of that good combination of durable, inexpensive, and effective. So, like, conscripts for the Soviets are very durable, they're inexpensive, they have decent fire, and they're just all around an okay unit. They're not a great unit or anything, but if you build lots of them, they can get a lot done. Like, they could, for instance, completely surround and destroy this machine gun, which is what's going to happen to it eventually, but in any event, going to chase away these engineers with the flamethrower. Nothing too big there. Got another truck, can't really do anything with it yet. So you're going to see exactly here that sort of thing here. That one unit's going to get into pinned status. He's going to start flanking this machine gun, and he's going to be able to kill it. Alright, so over here, he's got assault shock troops. Those guys are a little bit too heavy for my pioneers to easily take by themselves. However, I am starting to put down this flak truck here, so I need to defend it, so I need to get these units all over there to sort of make sure that that happens. I've moved some Fallschirmjägers onto the field. They can teleport into any building for some reason, which I have not ever heard explained. And that's going to let them start pegging away at these guys over here, but from the cover of this building, which I didn't have to actually get into, I just magically was in. Anyway, his assault troops are going to try and aim for the wrong squad. They're going to get shredded up and chased away, so... the reason that this happened is he had them right-clicked on my Volksgrenadiers, which are now quite weak, but since he started at long range, he wasn't doing enough damage to actually kill them. I'm able to drop a medic bag anyway, so beside the command vehicle, it's going to be quite useful. Either way, over here, my opponent is continuing on his sort of a little push down the side. He stole my machine gun, which is annoying, but not too bad. Still, I'm finding myself in a situation where I still have far fewer troops than my opponents. I can, however, start working towards a faster Panzer II, which is a very nice tank. One of the reasons that I like this build is because I'm getting extra fuel. Normally I'd be getting far fewer fuel, partly because you get less as the Oberkommando. The Oberkommando just get less resources all in all. But in this particular case, I'm able to sort of maintain this. Over here, he's forced back to retreat. My HMG moves over here, sets up. I can't quite see these guys, but, you know, I get some nice shots with the Fallschirmjägers even, too. This machine gun has still managed to hold out, despite the fact that its flank is a little bit exposed. At this point in time, it's pretty well protected, just because of that flak, even though it doesn't reach quite all the way. If they try and come through this alleyway, the machine gun can actually suppress them. Other than that, though, over here, I've got my units working in conjunction with one another. Machine gun, Volksgrenadiers, it's going to let me retake this territory very easily. They're going to have to run past these guys, which is going to cause another couple of them to die, so it's going to keep his manpower a little bit further down, but it's not going to wipe the unit or anything. Still, he's got a good ball of troops. It's just that he's sort of getting worn down, and he can't really maintain this sort of fight for very long, so this is something that's going to definitely start favoring me as it wears on. He knows that the Oberkommando West scales up really fast compared to the compared to the Russian forces. Like, this is basically sort of the units that he's going to have, this is what he's going to get, and he can't really do a whole lot to make himself really more deadly than he already is here, so... Either way, he's got a flamethrower firing away at these guys. I'm able to move in with these guys on the flank, and that's going to start really tearing through one of those rifle squads. I retreat these guys, but for some reason they're like too suppressed, so they actually just crawl back and get killed, so I do lose the Fallschirmjägers, but not a big deal. I get this machine gun set up, and this time I've got the back guarded by the Volksgrenadiers. So he's forced back there yet again. However, he does have mortars, so he's going to start bombarding that position, which is going to force me back. I would like to have taken this point, but unfortunately I can't here. I did hear the whistle of that, so I did start moving it early, but either way. Yeah, so this area is sort of well defended. This area is almost completely locked down. It's just a very narrow strip around here that's sort of vulnerable, but even then, it's definitely going to favor me. And I've also got this victory point, so able to work okay here. Popping more medical supplies. Either way, here, finally, it's the Panzer II. Probably could have gotten it a little bit earlier, but either way. This unit had to retreat back because he did get behind me through somewhere with these guys. Actually, I think he just like managed to charge straight in on them somehow, but either way, going to be able to overwhelm them completely, I think, with these Storm Pioneers, but I can't really remember. Still, though, he's pounding my position with his machine gun because he does want out of it, and his mortar is in a pretty commanding position. He's actually got more than half of the battlefield at this point in time. It's just that I'm going to still be able to beat him quite effectively. That grenade's going to go off there, and I'm able to chase away the stormtroopers before they can do anything to us. Going to be able to move up over here, take out these guys as well, or rather push them back. I don't think we killed him. I need to get that machine gun back up to the front, but I'm not healing it like I should be. Either way. Once again, unit forced back because of the machine gun. And now, a nice little light Panzer II is able to get in here. And once he sees that Panzer II, he's completely unprepared for it. As you can see, he hasn't really tiered up, so he doesn't have an opportunity to counter this with the Soviets. If we look at his resource bar, he's got plenty of fuel, so he could have built a tank, but he was saving up for something. I think he was saving up for the IS-2, but that's never going to come to fruition at this point in time, so my opponent does drop out. Against these guys, you really do need to have that early dominance in the game. And if we look at a resource bar as well, like I was really low on a lot of resources here, but my gains would have been quite good after I pushed him out of this area. If I had taken over as much as I possibly could have, pushed forward as much as I could. He still probably could have taken it back and won somehow, but I think that I was in a pretty commanding situation all in all. Anyway, let's head on to our match against the Americans. Okay, welcome back. So this is our second match. As you can see, we're up against the Americans, who operate a lot more similarly in certain respects to the Oberkommando. Anyway, we're going to be pulling in with our troops here the same sort of way, and we're going to actually speed this up just a little bit in the early game, since it's going to be same sort of boring stuff. But anyway, as you can see, like I'm using a very dynamic style of play here. I'm trying to move up and then take territory, and then I'll lock it down sort of in that order. Yeah, I don't even like locking territory down, but I think it's necessary if you're playing as the Oberkommando. They're a very defensive faction, and I don't particularly like that element to them. But against the Americans, this means that early game, he's going to be able to push out much more aggressively and much more quickly than I am. So we're going to look at what's going on over here. We're going to slow down a little bit. As you can see, I'm just chasing these Americans away, and he was hoping that he could end up in a 2v1 fight. I'm keeping my units fairly close together so that I can keep those riflemen out and sort of defeat those riflemen. He's using the assault engineer doctrine, which means that he's also got a unit similar to the Sturm Pioneers. The Sturm Pioneers are better, but he has got a unit that can sort of work in the same way, and his riflemen are better than my guys, so that's sort of the way things are here. Again, I'm going that mix of 2 Volksgrens to Sturm Pioneers, and that sort of combination is going to work very well for me. Here, you can see that my Sturm Pioneers definitely are superior to these assault engineers, and I'm actually able to wipe out that squad if I recall correctly. Maybe not. Okay, I wiped them out at another time, but in any event, like, you can see how much stronger my guys were, but he's got a lot more of the map locked down already than I have. He's going to move another unit of assault engineers up here. Since my unit up here is so weakened, I can't really fight with them. I'm going to move in these riflemen, and that's a mistake getting them that close. I sort of misclicked there. But I'm sort of moving them back towards these other Sturm Pioneers as sort of a lure. And he's got them sort of right-clicked on these guys. He's trying to kill them. And he kind of needs it, too, to sort of recover this early game. Since I am winning in terms of manpower killed in the early game, that wipes out that unit of assault grenadiers, who are quite expensive.
Heavy machine gun group ready for action.
At this point in time, though, I'm still fishing around. I'm still trying to capture what I can. Over here, he's got rear echelon troops that I'm going to be able to just push up against on the side with my Volksgrenadiers. That's the nice thing about these guys, is that the Volksgrenadiers are quite cheap, and they make a good sort of inexpensive, fast capping, pushing unit. Either way, this is going to be a game where I really use these Fallschirmjägers well, and you're going to sort of be able to see me doing some impressive things with them. In any event, though, like, I'm still being pushed back, though. Like, this is sort of ridiculous if you're playing as the Oberkommando. The fact that your units come out so slowly is really bad, but even with that, you're able to sort of do really weird things. Now, I'm playing a little bit off meta, which I think is sort of one of the reasons why I'm going to do quite well in this game. My opponent's going to be expecting me to sort of play as you would normally play. I saw him heading towards that building. I figured, okay, he's going into that building. I need to move out of the way here. I need to move away from here as well because he's got that flamethrower. I don't want him setting up and using it. But once I've got this machine gun set up and start firing at him, he's going to retreat back, so... yeah, pretty easy. Over here, this building, I knew he was in there, so I'm sort of moving all of my units to swarm that building. And the combined firepower from all these guys is going to be able to take out these riflemen that are in here, so we're just moving in, we're just going to fire away. And you can just sort of see that high damage coming in on there. He abandons the building, I sort of run around. He's trying to just move back in good order so I can consolidate into 2 units, but he decides to retreat them back very, very intelligently. This does give me my rank 1 veterancies, which means I can start dropping medic bags. I'm still pushing up along this side with these Volksgrenadiers because my opponent, his rear echelon troops, are forced back by them. So at this point in time, I'm in a pretty commanding situation. Once again, I've gone for this building here. I'm once again also going for munitions, and I'm building a half flak truck. Sorry, and the flak truck is a really brilliant unit if you want to really nail enemy infantry that are heading into a defensive area, but it is fairly fragile and it's fairly immobile because it can't fire while moving. So my opponent moving in here trying to create some pressure. I've got a well-placed machine gun. It's going to be able to suppress these guys before they can actually cap it, so they do retreat back before they can take any casualties or anything like that. Over here, I drop my medic bag, give all my units a full heal up there. Since I can't do this the conventional way, this is how I have to do it, and that's going to basically help out keeping my units on the field and causing pressure on this side. I wanted to build the flak headquarters over here at this point in time, but I just couldn't actually get it finished before other things happened. Over here, his lieutenant shows up, which chases me away there, so I'm forced away and can't finish capping that. The lieutenant with his bar is just really good at fighting, so either way, I tried to cut him off because I figured he'd sort of run through afterwards. I probably could have moved right beside him and set up, but the flak truck, I'm actually just moving over here. I'll drop some Fallschirmjägers into a building pretty soon, but for now, like, got other things that I'm thinking about and worrying about. In any event, he's sort of massing up here a little bit, trying to counter against this sort of lonely machine gun that I've got here. I reposition it just a little bit, but not too important. Over here, a bit of a mess happens, and this is why I end up having to retreat back with this supply half-track. My units sort of move in here to try and get in close where they excel against these guys, but he concentrates fire and wipes out one of my units very, very quickly. After that, though, it turns in my favor, and he's forced to retreat with his 2 rifleman units. Yeah, not such a good situation for me. This machine gun over here is locking down another bit of area, but not getting sort of the vision it needs to, so I'm going to be able to take this area. Or actually, I'm forced to retreat in this area, I can think of it. At that point, I move this away so that it doesn't get taken by my opponent. Still, though, this flak truck combined with these Fallschirmjägers, they're actually going to be able to kill this lieutenant over here. His lieutenant is going to run into some Volksgrenadiers who are going to stop him around, I think, this area or something like that. But in any event, I'm sort of losing control of the map a little bit. It's not a great situation that I'm in here right now, but you know, you do what you can. In any event, let's, you can see over here, my opponent has got this machine gun. He figured it was just Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjäger, able to move in there. Able to blow these guys up with a grenade. Pretty simple, just toss a grenade on them. They get wiped out by the Fallschirmjäger and the flak, so yeah. Over here, he's trying to retake position. I'm able to move in with Fallschirmjägers. They don't do as well as I really would have thought they would have in this situation, but these guys were quite veterans, so that explains that. Fallschirmjägers are just really good against infantry. These guys over here force back as well, so the reason that I was able to win that was I had the fire from the Fallschirmjägers mixed with these guys. Even though I was getting flamethrower, these guys are quite good in close quarters combat, so finally I'm able to move up and start building my flak outpost. In the same vein, he's also able to take out my flak truck, which is bad, but yeah, I wish I had thrown that bundle grenade, but in any event, my opponent here is, I'm running sort of behind this guy before I retreat. I kind of wanted to make sure I was behind it just in case that happened, and I was lucky as hell. That was pure luck that happened, that he blew up that truck, because otherwise he could have taken it. In any event, though, I'm still taking over this side, and now I've got it locked down, thanks to this flak headquarters, which means that I can still keep putting pressure, trying to capture this area, and my opponent can't really do the same over here, so he actually has to do a really dedicated, strong assault over here now to take this area. Really, really works in my favor. So it just finished. I'm getting the light tank out right away. gonna speed ahead just a little bit. So as you can see, locked down in this area. He's forced to retreat with these guys a little bit, but I managed to start shooting at them with these guys, and since he's pegged down by this headquarters, he can't close to flamethrower range, so I'm just gonna get to pick on him for free. He tries to flank that unit, but they get chased off. So, yeah, it worked out really quite well for me. That was good positioning. In any event, Panzer II, it just runs in, starts destroying the shit out of things. This is getting blocked by random bits of terrain around there, so I'm able to get a lot of shots off before I deem it necessary to back off. But eventually I do back off. Still, Fallschirmjägers are able to capture around in the back here. These Fallschirmjägers, I think, retreat back, and just the one survives. And the other unit is also just going to be like one guy moves back and survives, but that's kind of the way things go. Yeah, so these Fallschirmjägers. In any event, though, I'm starting to mass troops sort of in this middle region, and I'm planning on sort of defending it, but I'm sort of inching my way forward, as you can see. I'm starting to take over more and more of the map. At this point in time, I realize I've heard of this guy. So yeah, CMA Supra is another YouTube personality. Check out his channel, it's pretty good. Panzer is just being a little dick here. Yeah, I did not remember where I had seen him from, but I did know who he was approximately. Yeah, so Panzer II manages to be a little dick and then run away. Yeah, so I'm going to repair that back up. But at this point in time, I'm looking towards getting the King Tiger. And it's going to be a little while longer before I can actually get that. I actually get a Rakethenwerfer, but I cancel that and just get a Volksgren. I want to have that mobility. I want to be able to move in against my opponent. Here, I'm moving in with my Fallschirmjägers. The reason being that my opponent, I knew, was building a lot of anti-tank and he wasn't defending it properly. So I was able to sort of move in here, but I'm forced away by the combination of units as well as this Wolverine tank destroyer. I should have actually hit the tank destroyer or something else. This part is interesting. I managed to hit him with the lights tank to draw him in here, and then a Fallschirmjäger is actually called out of this building behind him with Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust is useful because it can destroy the engine of these guys, which gives me plenty of time to line up the shot with my unit of Volksgrenadiers. So, yeah, these guys can come out of buildings. They deploy out of buildings anywhere. So they just popped out of there and owned his guy, which is really, really disgusting. So yeah, these guys, this commando unit's just like, this is how you're supposed to use Fallschirmjägers. Anyway, they're forced to retreat back finally because of this unit of the captain coming around behind him. But as you can see, my opponent's really sort of getting a lot of anti-tank weaponry of various sorts around the map, and it's gonna really serve him well in certain respects, but and also is gonna make it difficult for him to fight certain fights. Either way, though, still saving towards this Koenigs Tiger, the King Tiger. But I'm still trying to keep the pressure on. I want to keep his manpower depleted as much as possible, as often as possible. He's down to only 100-some manpower, which means that he's constantly having to replenish his units. And this is sort of that attrition style that I like. And it's hard to make the Americans do this because they're very manpower efficient, I find. But if you're able to sort of move in, sort of smash his units and sort of do this kind of dirty in-and-out war, you can really mess with an American player. And I think that this sort of threw him off balance because it's quite... I feel like it's against the meta of how you're supposed to play these guys. They're very camping centric. They sort of camp around the battle group headquarters, and the units around it heal, and you can recruit more men, and it's just really bullshit trying to take it. So they become very sort of easily entrenched, and they're very difficult to dislodge. Either way, though, have I got the King Tiger on the way yet? I don't think I do. Still, it's going to be a little while, so we're going to speed up. Not a whole lot is going to happen here. He does get another Wolverine tank destroyer. I don't really like Wolverine tank destroyers. They're not particularly good compared to the Jackson tank destroyer, but it does save him from having to get his major, which is quite expensive and very gas intensive when he could be getting these Wolverine tank destroyers instead. It's just that this thing's not going to be able to penetrate very much armor by comparison, so it's not going to do as good a job. In any event, though, I'm starting to move up. My King Tiger is on the way. Starting to move my troops to get ready to do a two-pronged pincer attack against his remaining troops and that remaining position. I feel pretty secure leaving this undefended for a little while, since I don't particularly need it for anything anymore now that I can build all of my high-tier units. If you lose this building, you don't actually lose the tech level, so you still qualify for this thing. Yeah. So this is one of the game's most powerful tanks. It is just ridiculously bullshit. And yeah, I advance forward and my opponent's going to just basically be like, it's King Tiger! Ah! Yeah, it's basically like Godzilla. I take some shots front and side, rear, from various different units there, but as you can see, it gets pretty badly battered by various things, but meanwhile I'm also coming in around the flank here. And we're taking out this anti-tank gun for one thing. Now that it's gone, it's going to stop firing at this King Tiger. The howitzer doesn't really do any damage anyway, but you know, the push over here with these different units is going to really just smash right through my opponent here. And at this point in time, my opponent is going to capitulate. He just doesn't have the troops that he needs to stop this kind of push anymore. And I mean, it's just a really strong push that I've managed to come out here with. It's going to push up with this anti-tank gun over here, but it's not really going to do anything. So I do have to retreat back these Fallschirmjägers, but once this thing goes down, yeah, it's pretty much all over at this point in time. I'm repairing the King Tiger still, but it doesn't really matter. Over here, yeah, the playback's over, so my opponent was pretty much down to nothing at this point in time. He had nothing left on the field. So I think I caught him by surprise with the particular way that I was playing this, with that sort of very fast, aggressive gas strategy, getting the fuel transfer early on and trying to do early pushes around the map to get those resources a lot faster than you would otherwise expect them. So anyway, I hope you found this enjoyable, and of course, as always, I hope to see you all next time.